Today we got the Living Tribunal versus Lucifer Morningstar. Two of the most powerful characters in their respective universes going head to head. So who comes out on top? Let's find out. The Living Tribunal is a single entity existing across the entire Marvel multiverse, and is one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel multiverse, surpassing the likes of the Celestials, Galactus, Eternity, Death, and Infinity. The Living Tribunal's true function, the task for which it was created, is to protect the worlds without end, to whom Earth is but a speck of dust. He safeguards the multiverse from mystical imbalance, and transcends the realms of death and eternity, order and chaos, and all opposing realities, all the dimensions, each nebulous netherworld which exists either in time or in space, either as matter or as fathomless void. Such were given over into the eternal, deathless keeping of the Living Tribunal by the supreme being in the Marvel multiverse, the entity called the One Above All. The Living Tribunal is capable of doing essentially anything and everything, and has done things like granting Silver Surfer godhood, moving Earth from eternity, or taking singular universes and actually sealing them away and cutting them off from the rest of the multiverse as a whole. The Living Tribunal also has great power when it comes to his judgments, have both made the Infinity Gems stop working and caused them to start working again. He's judged the Beyonder and sealed away his reality. He's judged the nigh-omnipotent being Protege, and even judged whether or not to replace Earth 616 universe with the Ultimate Universe, Earth 1610. So, as we got one corner, the right hand of the One Above All, Living Tribunal. But, entering the ring, in the corner, the fallen angel, Lucifer Morningstar. One of the most powerful and most beautiful of all the angels in existence. Lucifer is one of the two beings fictionally accredited with the creation of the DC multiverse. However, he was sent by the Presence to rule over Hell after he rebelled. After governing Hell for more than 10 billion years, he left to look for a way out of predestination in order to escape Yahweh's great plan. Lucifer is the second most powerful being in the DC universe, or technically tied for second most powerful. After all, him and his brother Michael Demorgius are on the same power level and have the same powers. But regardless, Lucifer has done some truly incredible things throughout the years. For instance, he's withstood a point-blank energy blast from his brother Michael that was powerful enough to destroy universes. He also killed two temporal-manipulating immortals who actually usurped Yahweh's omnipotence by reaching back through time and killing them before they gained their power in the first place. Now, Lucifer has three signature powers at disposal: his light-bringer flames, his nigh-omniscience, and the will of God. Within creation, Lucifer can do basically anything that he wants, ranging from straightforward reality warping to affecting the metaphorical and imaginary in rather bizarre ways. Then the light-bringer flames and fire in general are his weapons of choice when he does get his hands dirty. However, Lucifer rarely chooses to get his hands dirty. No, his greatest assets are his willpower and intelligence. While powerless in the House of Windowless Rooms, he was able to manipulate the many gods in the realm who had attacked them and drove them to their own deaths. He's capable of manipulating demons to think against their nature, and even gods to act against their will. His manipulation skills essentially make him a living, breathing anti-life equation. However, Lucifer does tend to play by his own set of rules. He never lies and will always keep his word, because he considers it to be beneath him to do otherwise. Experience is everything to him, so he won't turn back time to correct mistakes, and instead prefers to see how things will play out instead of destroying all opposition. Finally, he prefers to rely on his intellect manipulation rather than getting his hands dirty. So, who wins? Well, let's break it down. The Living Tribunal and Lucifer Morningstar are actually incredibly similar characters. Both were created by God, or the supreme being in their universe, in order to serve him, although Lucifer is unwittingly serving him. Both are extremely powerful and even nigh-omnipotent, and so these two have been thrown head-to-head countless times without really ever a clear consensus. But today, well, we're going to try and finally get a definitive answer on who would win, the Living Tribunal or Lucifer Morningstar. So who's coming out on top? Well, let's figure it out. And as I've said it countless times before, when we're dealing with two beings on this power level, two guys who can basically do just about anything that they want, it's not a matter of what they can do necessarily, just which one of them is more powerful. That's really the only question here. Also, just a note, these two guys will be at full power here, because there have been so many times where Lucifer has been weakened or even made mortal by some magical force, or God leaving the plane of existence, or something like that. And that's just not going to happen here. Although it would be fun to try and see Lucifer talk his way out of, manipulate his way around the Living Tribunal while just a mortal, we're going to be throwing these two guys head to head at full power. So back to the question, which one is more powerful? Well, when it comes to the Living Tribunal, he's been put in charge of presiding over all the multiverse and maintaining balance. He presides over the Council of Abstract, with both infinity and eternity directly below him. And his three faces even represent eternal constants that exist across all dimensions and realms: vengeance, necessity, and equity. Obviously, when we're talking about a being like that, he's going to be insanely powerful, despite the fact that he hasn't shown a whole lot of those powers throughout the years, or even shown up in general a whole lot throughout the years. Which I do totally understand, because right now, when the Living Tribunal shows up, you know it's a big effing deal. I mean, this is the one above all's right-handed man. You can't just have him showing up in comics all over the place, or even give him his own comic book run like with Lucifer. So I understand when the Living Tribunal doesn't have a whole lot of showings, but it does make it difficult to gauge just how powerful the guy is. What we do know, though, is that he's capable of depowering the Infinity Gems, which are either universal or multiversal, depending upon how you look at it. He's capable of sealing off universes from the rest of the multiverse. He's even capable of declaring judgment on insanely powerful characters in their own right, people like the Beyonder and Protege. However, we do need to take a closer look at some of these feats, because I'm not of the mindset that the Living Tribunal is some omnipotent being who can't be beat simply because he's serving under the one above all. And the comics don't support that viewpoint either. Look at the Beyonder and Protege. These two are battling against one another, actually fighting on relatively equal footing, but then their fight was cut short when they were summoned into the Living Tribunal's court. While inside the courtroom, the two attempted to destroy Eternity, couldn't do it, and were appropriately judged. So clearly this isn't the same Beyonder who rivaled the one above all in scope and power, seeing as how he wasn't even able to destroy Eternity while aided by Protege. Then let's look at the time the Living Tribunal went up against Korvac, technically sealing Korvac off in his own universe, separate from the rest of the multiverse. An impressive feat, to be sure, but it only ever happened because the Living Tribunal didn't have the power to beat Korvac in that reality. The Living Tribunal even says it himself. Korvac is so powerful that he is able to withstand the Living Tribunal's punishment. The Living Tribunal had to consider this universe lost, and so we just decided to seal it off, basically telling everyone still in the universe, good luck, see ya. And yes, technically this took place in a what-if comic book. What if the Avengers were pawns of Korvac, to be exact, but this shouldn't stop us from using it here in this fight. Because Marvel has made it clear that the what-if storylines are technically canon, still exist within the Marvel multiverse, just happening in a different universe from 616. And since Living Tribunal is in charge of maintaining balance across the entire multiverse, that means that this actually happened to him. He encountered a being that was more powerful than him and could stand up to his judgment. And not the only time that something like this has happened. The Living Tribunal was also defeated by Thanos when Thanos had the heart of the universe. The Living Tribunal was even famously killed during his battle with the Beyonders. Now, the Living Tribunal shouldn't necessarily be embarrassed by either of those two defeats. They did come at the hands of some of the most powerful beings in the entire Marvel multiverse. But it does go to show that Living Tribunal is not an omnipotent being, second only to the one above all, that there are more powerful beings out there who can beat him. Even when Adam Warlock stepped in as the new Living Tribunal, he made mention of his predecessor's limited, inferior power in the face of threats like the Beyonders. So the question now becomes, is Lucifer Morningstar one of these beings? The Living Tribunal can be defeated. Is Lucifer Morningstar powerful enough to do it? Well, as one of the two sons of Yahweh, Lucifer has incredible physical power. He can basically do anything that he wants with the essence of creation itself, ranging from straightforward reality warping to affecting the metaphorical and imaginary in bizarre ways. He literally bleeds willpower. His will extends and permeates all parts of his multiverse. He's actually injured people just with his straight up willpower. Like Lucifer went up against nigh-omnipotent titans, beings that were immune to all power except their own, and yet Lucifer was still able to injure them, simply because he willed it to be so. Magical objects don't hurt him because he wills it so. He's willed human souls out of existence, willed Silkman out of existence, even overpowered the Velity, a powerful entity from the first world and basically an entire pantheon of godheads, through sheer willpower. Lucifer has the ability to manipulate all creation to his beck and call, and willpower is just one of the ways that he's shown he's able to do this. One time, Lucifer even shattered the mansions of silence with his mere presence, which is a realm that contains every possible outcome that could have happened in someone's life. And Lucifer's presence, so vast and powerful, destroyed everything just by him being there. It's the exact same concept as God being too large and powerful to enter a basement realm without destroying it. He also was the one responsible for the creation of the entire DC universe alongside his brother Michael. On top of that, Lucifer has shown some incredible durability feats before, even managing to survive 3 demiurgic explosions, which are explosions from Michael's body, which contains the infinite power of God, that are capable of destroying all creation and all reality, and are only ever rivaled in scope and power by each other. Lucifer took all of them point blank and didn't die. Sometimes he wasn't even hurt. So, end of the day, who's coming out on top here? Well, I think it's gotta be Lucifer Morningstar. Because let's get one thing straight. This isn't the one above all versus the presence, simply fighting through their creations. It's a tribunal and Lucifer fighting against one another, unassisted by their makers. And if we look at it that way, well, Lucifer Morningstar has just done the more impressive things. Lucifer helped to create the entire DC universe, actually exists on planes above the DC universe, and the Living Tribunal hasn't done too hot squaring off against beings that exist outside or above the Marvel multiverse. Lucifer squared off against omnipotent beings before. Those titans we talked about earlier, well, they later went on to steal the present's omnipotent powers, and Lucifer still beat them. And Lucifer was able to defeat them with his infinite willpower, which Tribunal really has no answer against. The Living Tribunal has passed some nice judgments, but there are some beings that are just too powerful for them to pass judgment upon, and Lucifer appears to be on that power level, especially given his insane durability. On top of that, Lucifer Morningstar has never technically died. Just saying. End of the day, these are both incredibly powerful characters. And if they were backed by their makers, it might have been a different story. But as it stands right now, Lucifer Morningstar has just shown more impressive feats than the Living Tribunal. Literally just shown more power, and that's putting him on top here. Lucifer Morningstar wins. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts, so sign off in the comments down below. Also be sure to like button, subscribe button, turn on notifications, join the Fanco army, and I will see you next time.